I'm blue, if I was green, I would die. If I was green, I would die. Lego light is on. What's up, peeps? I thought about doing a full intro. I was like, nah, I don't want to waste too much time. I realized on my last review, I spent so long talking, and I don't want to make these things. How the Froman family reviewed the same set I did. Theirs was like 12 minutes, and mine is 30. Anyways, peeps, we are back to review the Mattel Brick Shop Mercedes Benz 300 SL. English is hard. I can't even read it. I'm looking at it and couldn't read it. It is... Do they even have set numbers on these? I didn't even pay attention to that. HWW25, maybe that's the set number? 1,600 pieces, aged 17 plus. So, I'm not going to do the Spuppler style. I'm just going to talk about what I liked and what I didn't like. Obviously, this is brand new. Mattel's just jumping into the, well, sort of. So that's one of the things to consider, right? Mattel already has Mega Bloks. And I'll be honest, I cannot find anything online that talks about the future of Mega Bloks. Is Mega Bloks getting rolled into Mattel Brick Shop? Are they going to remain two separate companies doing their own thing? Is Mega Bloks just going to go away altogether, which makes me wonder, did that happen and that's how Lego got a hold of the Pokemon IP? I can't find anything. So if you guys know, let me know down in the comments, but I just cannot seem to find any good information about it. But this was their very first set of vehicles, and I do want to pull it up real quick because I want to remember what this is called. They had their different tiers. I believe this is called the Premium Series. Okay. Sorry, it took me a minute to find. You guys know I don't prepare for anything. But yes, so they have the three different tiers of sets. You got the Hot Wheels Speed Series, Hot Wheels Elite Series, and Hot Wheels Premium Series. They only did one of the Premium Series, and that was this. Now we're all waiting to see what's going to happen. Are they going to put out more series? But this was the top of their lines that they put out. So your Speed Series, I think, is supposed to be more like your Speed Champions for Lego. Your middle tier, I don't know, maybe like an Icons, and then this is supposed to be their top of the line. But okay, let's just jump into it, right? You guys, if you didn't watch the build, you can go check it out over here. But we'll cover the good first, and then we'll talk about some of the negatives, and then just, give my overall opinion. But right off the top, man, first of all, right off the box, right? Box looks great. This is so cool. They had the window here with all the little metal pieces inside. You could see what was going on. Plus your little die-cast car was in there. That was super fantastic. The box overall looks great. Good quality. It's not like a cheap box. It almost makes me sad to break this down, 'cause it really is very, very nice. Get your different little compartments they show you on the back here, your scale, all of that stuff. Plus your car, your die-cast cars, your 1/64th scale. This is a 1/12th scale car. All very cool. Your manual is beautiful. Obviously I don't use the paper, I use the digital, but it's basically the same. Everything looks really good. I like the way they put stuff in yellow so that you can tell exactly what you're doing, what's going where. The style of the manual is pretty cool. Like, we talked about this on, I think, episode 1, but they'll have you build a section. Now, this is one thing they could do a little better. They have you build a section and then basically put it to the side. And then later on, when they want you to bring that back in, they go like, all right, you're on step 22. This is step 7. Step 7 goes into step 22, and they make a note of that. They also have like your, let's pull this up. On here, they've got the arrow that tells you to turn it around. It's in bright red, so it's very hard to miss. Yeah, overall, the colors look good. There's no real weird colors that I had difficulty with. Nothing where I was, you know, occasionally when it got to being a bunch of black, and that's just the way it is, it was like kind of squinting to try to figure out what was going on. But for the most part, colors look great. Directions flowed well. I didn't have any troubles building this as far as directions go. Really enjoyed that. I didn't, in fact, they even have little notes here, you know, place your temporary pieces. You know, occasionally there was some notes in here about what some of the things about Mercedes represent, and your sticker pack was in the manual. I did not know where it was yesterday, but manual, great. Box, great. All right, the actual build. Starting off, man, the metal parts are so cool. So you got your metal side view mirror, you got your metal rear view mirror in here in the front. You've got 2 sets of tire covers, right? Oh, I'm off the camera now. You got your extra side tire covers so you can customize, right? Plus the ones that are on here. These are all metal. What else is metal? Oh, your grill. The grill in the front is metal. Your plate underneath, your Hot Wheels plate. Flip this over, not break anything. Got the Hot Wheels plate under there, which is hard. That's metal. Trying to think if there was anything else I forgot. I don't think so. I think that was pretty much everything. But super cool. Love all the metal pieces, plus a spare tire. Oh, and that was another thing I wanted to talk about. The tires are kind of like realistic, you know, like, and don't get me wrong, Lego makes pretty good tires. They're the biggest producer of tires in the world, as I learned recently, but you know, sometimes they're more like a toy. This is more like, see, this is a challenge. This is a little bit of a negative. I'm trying to get this tire out of the trunk, but it's got some, it's almost like, you know, you got your real rim here, your real tire, and then the wheels, or sorry, real wheel, and then the tires are nice and squishy, like this was a balloon tire, you know, as it would have been in those times. Different tread patterns. They look really cool. So this one, by the way, is not metal. This one is plastic, I believe. Either that or it's aluminum. It's a very light metal, but it seems like it's plastic to me. All of that, love it. It looks really cool. Adds a amazing factor of realism to this build. Plus your die-cast card. You get the die-cast card that comes with its own little display case, and all of this is engraved on the plastic. You got your Mercedes-Benz 300 SL, Hot Wheels logo, Mercedes logo. It's a nice little acrylic case. Looks great. And the doors on the die-cast car open up just like they do on here. What else? There's so much good about this. I love the way it looks. Love that there's almost no studs showing. There are a couple random studs. I thought that was an odd choice since they did make this super clean. But it's very easily overlooked. Your hood has this really cool function. There's a little lever here, so I'll push it back down. See right here in the side, there's a little lever. You push, it pushes up the hood. You've got little mini slopes in there, or what caused that action. There's a slope on the inside, and then there's a slope on the inside of the hood. It gives you that function to lift it up, and then it just stays up on its own. Like, it's really well designed in there. Got your whole engine in there. Let's see, what else do I really like about this build? I mean, everything looks fantastic. Even the shifter, right? You got a shifter. It has a, oops, and I, of course, as I say that, I knock it off. The shifter has nice, realistic, printed, shoot, why is my brain not working? It's the shifter stock, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. The 4 gears plus reverse. Put that back in there, and it actually, it's on a little joint, so it actually ball joint, so it moves around. You got your shifting, I mean, your ability to actually drive the car. The steering, that's the word I'm looking for. It works, so that's great. I love it. Doors stay up like this when you put them up. I love the way they shaped this. They have so many. I'm guessing these are custom pieces because I don't recognize many of these pieces. Like the way they got the edges around the corners here, all of it looks absolutely fantastic. Really, really crushed it. Your dashboard, that whole thing is completely printed, no stickers. Now again, there are stickers in the book that are meant for customizing. If you want to turn it into the race car version, put race car stickers all over, totally your option. I'm not going to do that. I think this thing looks way too beautiful to go stick a bunch of stickers on there, especially when they did print so much. There's the printed logo on the back. You got a printed license plate on the back. You got a printed license plate on the front. There's printing all over this thing. There's printing on the side of the car, little logos, Mercedes-Benz here, printing up here, printing on the front. I mean, there's printing everywhere. It is really absolutely fantastic. What just fell off? Oh, this little corner. No big deal. That's what happens when you handle a set too long. Start knocking stuff off. But yeah, I love it. I love it. The build experience, again, was really, really well done. It didn't have, as far as the actual, again, instructions and following along and what to do, nothing was super complicated. I didn't have to like shove my finger in any weird holes. Everything flowed really, really well. I really, really like this. And again, I love that they have the option to customize it. You can totally swap out pieces. The headlights, I'm definitely going to swap out the headlights. They got a different set of headlights that have the Mercedes logo on them. Why is this corner just keep falling off? I didn't even touch it that time. All right, have to figure that one out. This side's staying on, this one. I'm gonna leave it off for now. It doesn't keep falling off. Even like the rear bumper. The rear bumper is in this, it's not metal, but it's like this chrome paint. Oh, the tail lights. I didn't even talk about this when I built it. The tail lights are clear colored pieces, but they printed the framing around it. So it doesn't just look like a tail light, like a colored brick. It has printing around the outside, so it looks like an actual tail light that you would have slotted in there. So nice. The glass on the front and rear windows, beautiful. Looks fantastic. It's so clear. I love it. What else? It's really, really, really hard to say negative stuff about this build. I was blown away by how fun it was and how good it looked in the end. And again, when you sit here and you look at this is what it's supposed to be. Really, really nailed the shape, the size, the colors, everything. Even the seats. The seats are printed. They have a special printed pattern. Now you can swap them out, put in like race car style seats. They're more like a Technic, but they're just a race car style seat. Nothing about it is like crazy. The bad, and I don't want to like sit here and bash them, but I've got to be fair. All right, so the biggest complaint I had about this whole build, and it's a tough thing to complain about. The bricks, almost all of them, are very, very tight. Now, when you're talking about like a couple studs at a time, not a huge deal. When you're talking about anything that's a single stud piece, trying to put on a single stud piece, it can be very, very difficult. I don't want to complain about that because ultimately you want your bricks to stay together and not just fall off like this one is falling off for some reason here. But so here's an interesting thing I discovered. Any of the solid stud pieces, those ones are very tight. Any of the open stud, which is ironically what this one is over here that's falling off, the open studs are not as tight. They're a lot easier to put on. Kind of like these ones up on top. They have the open studs. They're not flat and solid. I don't know if that's an air pressure thing. I'm not a scientist here. I don't understand how it all works, but I have a habit, right? When I put bricks together, let me see if I can find something that's not already together. I have a habit when I put bricks together that I roll them on. I don't know what everybody else's style is, but I don't just like go flat down. I kind of roll it in there, right? So like I do this number. What I found with this brand, with this set, is that when I got to the point where things were not going in easily, which would start tearing up your fingertips, I had to do the best. I could just go straight down. Whatever the piece was, just try to go straight down. And then it went together a little easier. Again, this is a tough thing to complain about because you want your bricks to lock together tightly. But see, here's the other side of that. Sometimes, if you make a mistake, trying to separate those pieces again can be almost impossible. I got them all apart when I did. On the rare occasion I made a mistake, but and like you can see right here, this two, there it is. That 2-dot stick just did not want to come out of there. They're so incredibly tight. Now it goes back together easily because I went straight in. But overall, everything gripped extremely tight, which is again both a positive and a negative. But it got to points with some of the finer details of the car where I was struggling. So here's what I would recommend if you're going to build this, because at times when I was having a hard time getting those pieces on, I would just try to do the standard push down and then things would bust. Like a different section of what I was working on would just bust off. Not pieces breaking, but the section would break apart. What I came to find with a lot of sections is I would have to, when I go to attach something, I have to grip from top and bottom. Okay, so not only do I want to try to bring the pieces together as flat as possible, not do the roll effect, but I also wanted to grip the pieces from top and bottom. I'm mashing them from both sides as opposed to just trying to press it onto the build that I'm doing. Because again, it would cause other things to just break off and then they have to rebuild that. Kind of like what I did with the trunk the other day when I broke it off and I just kept fussing. I had to pause and come back. But it's a very tough thing to complain about, but it did detract from the experience on occasion. Overall, again, if I've got to say, hey, would I build this again or would I not build this again? I absolutely would build this again. And it's an interesting because again, Mega Bloks and Mattel is the brick shop and Mega Bloks, right? Got the Red Rocket gas station back there. That's Mega Bloks. One of the complaints I had about Mega Bloks is they didn't grip quite as well. And so maybe Mattel took that and went, we got to fix this problem. If we're going to put out premium stuff, we've got to say nothing's coming apart ever. It's a challenge. I'll just say that. It can be a challenge to get some of these bricks together, which can leave you with little imperfections. But again, overall, when I look at it, I'm like, man, this thing looks so good. I would absolutely build it. A couple other things. So like, they did some different things, right? The little straps that they had that went over the luggage, it was just these little thin pieces of rubber band. And they had a little tiny hole that you had to put some piping through. And the hole was so small, I just had to sit there and fiddle and fuss with it. And eventually I got it. And once I saw what it was supposed to be doing, I was like, oh, that's so neat. I like what they did there. Even like they had some little bendy pieces in here. Like Lego often does the flexi tubes, but these it's almost like they have a little piece of metal wire internally, because you bend it and it stays in place. Whereas usually you'll bend something and it'll kind of flex back. These just bend, and then whatever position you put them in, they stayed in place. So that was kind of neat. Again, something different, something I'm not used to. On the negative side, again, I kind of mentioned this in a previous episode. I don't know how this stuff is made, right? I don't know the process for creating bricks, but it's almost as if the plastic is somewhat softer, because these tiles, all of them for the most part, have little scuffs and scratches. And so that was another thing that was on the positive side, right? I liked the way Mattel had things. They were trying their darndest to keep things from getting scratched. So like the windshield was wrapped in its own little tissue paper. The back window wrapped in its own little tissue paper. Certain things were just very well protected. I thought that was a great idea. Except there's already little dings and dents and stuff in the glass. Almost all of the printed dash has little scratches in it already, and I'm thinking I'm gonna reach out to Mattel, because I know Lego, I know Lumi Bricks, and I've heard, I haven't personally experienced, but I've heard Panacea is very good at replacing pieces if something is not right. So I'm thinking I'm gonna reach out to Mattel and be like, hey, my whole dashboard, and I'll send them pictures. Like, I have no problem. My whole dashboard has got scratches on it. Will you replace these parts? And I want to see what that experience is like. And if they come back and it's positive, then I'll update this and I'll let you guys know. But yeah, that part kind of frustrated me, because it's so awesome that they're printed, but then they've already got little dings and stuff in them. I was like, but overall, again, it's just like, if you just quickly glance at it, you're like, oh man, that's a great dashboard. You know, I'm a bit of a nut. So when I see little scratches, little imperfections, it takes me out of it. You know, the doors are really, really cool. And I love the little levers they put on here. I thought it was kind of funny how they had these two little white tabs just randomly sticking out. And then when I got to the point where you put the little levers on here to hold the doors open, I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And you got your little actuating mechanism that allows you to open up your hood. So again, here's a little bit of a down. Something that I thought was kind of corny. So if you look here, you can grab my pointers. All right, you see this little yellow bundle of rubber bands. I guess this is supposed to represent some sort of tubing, some sort of pipes inside of the engine, right? I just thought this was, I don't know if this was an afterthought or what, but the way this was executed, it just looks kind of tacky in there. And I almost want to remove it and just leave it out, because this, I don't know, it doesn't look like, for the quality of everything that's going on in this car, this is the lamest thing. It's just here. It just looks silly. Now, I've never owned a 1954 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL. Maybe that's what it really looked like under there. I'm doubting it. It just looks so cheesy to me. I did like the way they had these flexi tubes going through here, though, to be the air intake. You get your little radiator up here, and then the air is coming through. I thought that was really, really well done. You know, you got your little custom pieces here and in the dashboard represent different caps. Like, I thought that was so cool. I love all the little details that they crammed into this build. One thing you'll notice when you put the hood down, if you don't give it a little force and you kind of get concerned, you gotta give it a little bit of force, and then your hood will go flush, and it almost looks like your hood is not going down correctly because of this gap that's on both sides. It's fine. It's supposed to be there. That's just the way it's designed. I looked online at Mattel's site and a bunch of other places. This is what it is. But you do have to push it all the way down, like, 'cause you can just kind of push it and then it'll stop there. You got to give it a little extra force, a little extra love. Kind of same thing with the doors. When you put the doors down, like you can see, I just put that one down. Put this one down. This one mostly goes down on its own. This one, I got to give it a little extra push, right? And they still don't sit 100% flush. There's a little bit of a gap, right? I don't know if that's just the tightness of the pieces or what, but it just does not sit completely flush. But again, that is so minor to me. I really, again, I find it difficult to really knock anything about this set other than the extreme tightness of the bricks. They are extremely tight. Man, the metal pieces are all great. There's no scratches. That's the interesting part. There's no scratches, nothing on any of the bricks. I mean, any of the metal pieces. Even the headlights. You got your headlights here that look like legit headlights. And again, they printed the rim on these headlights. There's these little tiny yellow fog lights down here. The grille is fantastic. What an absolutely beautiful car. And I do intend to go back and modify some of this. That is, again, another really cool bonus to this set, is that you can modify it to be however you want within bounds. But you know, they give you that option. I think that's really neat. They even have a bunch of custom pieces that I thought were really cool. I like the way they got these archways in the wheel well. Oh, I always forget. The arches in the wheel well were their own little special piece that they put in here. But on the negative side, right, they did not connect them with anything. I would have liked to have seen like a, I don't know, like a 4-dot stick come across somehow and connect these, because then when I was adding other pieces like this little side molding here, it was shoving it in every time I tried to connect it. It was not, again, that's where I got to the point where I had to start connecting things like this as opposed to just pushing it on. What else is kind of special? Like, again, this metal Hot Wheels plate on the bottom, so fantastic. Wow, I mean, what a beautiful car. They really nailed it. If I were to compare this, so I heard somebody say this was like a Technic car. I'm gonna just tell you, I've built several Technic cars now. I did the Bugatti, I did the McLaren, I did a couple Batmobiles. I've done several Technic vehicles. I did all those little monster trucks down there. This is not a Technic build. If I had to compare this to a Lego set, I would compare it, and I did bring it in here. I prepared for something. Can you guys believe it? I would compare it to the Lego Icons, right? Oh, Jesus, of course. I'm a dork, and I tried to grab it by the hood instead of just grabbing it. But, hey, it's a drop top now. The Lego Icons, to me, are the closest thing that I can compare this to. Okay? And so here's my Icons Camaro. And again, you got a working steering wheel, right? Your engine is... Well, that's wild. I literally tested this out ahead of time to make sure it was going to work. It's been sitting on my shelf for a while. I built this a couple years ago. But your engine is all brick built, just like this one. There's no moving parts or anything. Just very basic look of an engine. And it looks great. They're similar build style. There's a lot of Technic framing, but once you get past the frame, it's just a brick built car, right? And I went out, I wanted to see how these two compared as far as pricing goes. Now again, it's been a couple years. This was a 2022 model. And I don't really remember what I paid for it, but I looked up the MSRP. So this set was, I want to say it was like 1,454 parts, I believe. MSRP for 170 bucks, right? So you do that math real quick. 170 bucks divided by 1,454 parts comes out to about 11.7 cents a piece, right? This car is 1,600 pieces. MSRP was 120 bucks. Divide that by 1,600 pieces, you're coming out to 7.5 cents a piece. So right off the top, your price per piece is way, way better over here. Okay, and I'm gonna just say, I love this car. So that's why I bought it and I built it. This one was also customizable. You could swap out different colors and things like that. I love this car. But looking at this car, price per piece, this one wins automatic. Additionally, bunch of metal pieces, zero metal pieces. It's all plastic, okay? Even things like the side view mirrors. These are cool, but it's just popsicle sticks. They use popsicle sticks to represent the mirrors. Okay. Looking at the glass, I didn't even realize this, you know? Looking at the glass here, look how clear this glass is. Look how clear this is not. This is foggy. This is like headlights after they've sat in the sun for too long. Like this is just not clear. And that's okay. But again, apples to apples, right? This one's clearly winning in the quality of the glass. It looks so much better. Plus you get a die-cast car with this. No die-cast car over here. So again, when I start, printed all over, stickers all over, right? And again, I want to be very clear. I love this car. I saw this car and I was like, gotta have it. And this was obviously back before I really got smart on pricing and looking for sales and deals and all that. I just wanted it and I got it. And I was still active duty at the time. I still had a little bit more money coming in the bank at the time. But overall, these two cars, to me, are very similar in style and obviously two different brands completely. But, you know, Chevy and Mercedes. But when you talk about pieces, size, they're basically the same size. They're basically the same, you know, overall style. Apples to apples. Mattel's winning this one easily. So I just wanted to bring that in and kind of give you guys that side to side. Even the shifter in here, it's just a basic little knob, and it just goes. It's on a C clip. It goes back and forth, right? Nothing special. Dashboard, all stickers. Everything was stickers, right? Nothing was printed. Even the license plates, they were not printed. They were stickers. So, you talking value, I would say very, very good value on this build. Again, plus you get the die-cast car. So, I really enjoy this. I'm really happy I picked it up. Again, I originally was not intending to pick up any of these Mattel cars. I was like, nah, we'll wait. It's brand new. We'll give it time. And then I kept seeing other people pick them up. I got a little bit of FOMO, and I'm like, let me go get it and see what it's like. Overall, beautiful car. Very, very, very fun build. Nothing kicked my butt, again, other than the difficulty of connecting pieces at times. But again, my recommendation to you, if you're going to build this, work on especially the solid studs. Open studs were not as bad. I don't understand how that works. Again, it's an air pressure thing. I don't know. But work on trying to go straight down as opposed to rolling pieces on, and try to connect things going from top and bottom at the same time. Try to squeeze them from the top and the bottom so you're not breaking things off. That was definitely a frustration for me from time to time throughout this build, was my own stupid Mongo hands breaking things off. Again, I don't have a lot of negative to say about this set. I really, really enjoyed it. Really like the way it looks. I gotta find a good place to display this, because man, you walk in, you see this gorgeous car. Wow. What else can I say? I say go get it. If you're into cars, especially if you like a Mercedes, like this color, you want a challenge, you want to do something new. Again, I'm going to be very, very clear. This is not a Technic build. Okay? It does have Technic aspects in that it does have a, you know, steering wheel that works. It does have, you know, a lot of Technic framing. But once you get past the framing, the rest of it's just brick build. Just standard brick build. But I love the customization factor. I am going to go back. Like I said, I'll probably record a short to really highlight all of the changes that I'm going to do. I do want to do a close-up video to show you guys all that's going on here, but overall, that's it. I really, really liked it, and I suggest. Now for a second, I put the grill on upside down. I still feel like I put the grill on upside down. Now I gotta look at this one. Is my grill on upside down? I think it is. I'm not gonna fix it right now. I'll have to fix it later. That's really funny. How did it go in there? I guess it's reversible. That is so funny. Like the Mercedes symbol looks upside down. It is. It is. The grill is on upside down. Oh well. I got a customized car. Customize. Do what you want. Peeps. That's it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are you gonna pick this one up? I'm a fan. I'm curious to see where it's gonna go with Mattel. With Mattel Brick Shop anyway. I want to see if they're going to just stick with Hot Wheels, if they're going to expand out, are they going to do buildings, are they going to do other IP, or are they just going to stick with what they already have, which is Hot Wheels, which is, you know, if that's all they end up doing, I probably won't be doing a lot of business with them. I like cars. I wanted to see what this was about. I was interested, but cars aren't my big thing. You guys can see there's almost no cars over here. But I do appreciate a good car if it looks cool and it's something I really want. So yeah, that's all I got. Oh, I guess overall, how do I feel? Like if I were to give this a score, we'll do a letter grade. I would say A-. Yeah, probably an A-. Is, you know, again, it's very, very good, but there's just little things that could be improved that I don't know why these are scratched so easily. tightness of the bricks is just a smidgen too tight. Again, is a weird thing to complain about, but it did have times where I was sitting there like for several seconds trying to connect a couple pieces. But overall, beautiful car, fun build. I'd absolutely do this again. A minus. I think that's a great score. Yay! Peeps, that's all I have for you today. I'll see you guys on the next one. Hope you enjoyed this review. Until then. Holla! Well, peeps, this is the first. I'm back with an update to my review before I've even edited the original footage. So, this little panel over here that kept falling off while I was recording the review, I decided to try to fix it, and every time I tried to put it back on, it just fell off. It would just not grip anymore. And as I tried to disassemble just this little section and replace it with pieces that weren't messed up, everything started falling apart. Like this whole rear end of the car just started crumbling on me. I've got it back 99%. These two pieces fell out of the trunk somewhere. Have no idea where they came out of. Thus far, everything inside the trunk is still operating correctly, but just even getting the trunk fell apart on me again. So I'm gonna just say this, okay? Here's what I suspect. I think when it came to the Mega Blocks, because they did have some issues with them being a little too loose, I think Mattel went the full opposite end of the spectrum and they went, let's make these so tight they're never going to come apart. Here's the thing that I suspect. I'm not an expert, so please don't quote me. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm just guessing, okay? Here's what I think. I think the studs are fine. I think it's the tubes that the studs actually plug into. I think they're so small. I think they're just a little bit like a micron too small. So like, all right, let's say this is a brick and this is a brick. We're trying to put them together. They should sit completely flush, right? But I think because they're so tight, they can't get there and they're doing like this. So you got your two bricks, they're tight in there, but because they're so tight, they can't get completely flush. And it's almost like the bricks are trying to pull themselves apart, like they're forcing their way out, which is causing things not to stay on. Also, here's another thing I suspect. I think that because they're so hard, now of course this brick separator is making a liar out of me, but I think because they're so tight that your need to have to force them on there is probably wearing the plastic down a little bit faster than if you just had a good grip and they sit completely flush the way bricks are supposed to sit. That's my 2 cents. I don't know, but that's what I'm guessing. So, with that being said, I spent probably about 30 minutes fiddling with the end of this car after this one little tiny section came off. I just wanted to fix it, and then everything started collapsing on me. I was like, what is happening? I've got everything back together, minus these two pieces. I don't know where they're supposed to go. All I know is they fell out of the trunk, and I cannot figure out where they go. I'm not tearing anything else apart. I suspect if I was just a regular builder and I put this together and I just shoved it on the shelf and never thought about it again, none of this would have happened. But because I do what I do and many of you do what you do, you're going to be handling these things. They should be able to hold up to me turning it around and showing you guys things on the camera without just falling apart. I gotta revise my score. I can't call this an A+ anymore. I called it an A-, I think is what I said. I'm giving this a B+. It is still a very good set. Mattel has some quality control issues that need to be addressed. They need to fix the tightness of these bricks. That's my biggest complaint with this set. Don't know, I didn't build the other ones, so I don't know what other people are saying about the not premium sets, the Speed series and the other, I forgot what the middle tier was, but for sure with this one, they're just too tight. They should not be as tight as they are, and that is causing problems. Things are not wanting to, they're not wanting to go flush. They're going like 95% of the way, but that last little 5% is just messing it up, and it's almost like the bricks are forcing themselves apart. Another thing I wanted to bring up real quick, well, two things. You'll notice on the bricks, Mattel is printed on some studs, not others. Not all pieces have Mattel on them. You guys know Lego is very crazy about that. They love to have their Lego logo all over everything. Not a factor here. I forgot to bring that up during the review. Also, this thing doesn't work that great. Is it because the bricks are too tight? I don't know. But it does not get the best angles. I had to resort to the old Lego brick separator on a couple occasions. I just was not getting the best use out of this thing, but it's there if you need it. But I just did not have the best success. I had to go back to the old Lego brick separator. That's all. I wanted to keep this brief, but just kind of want to update that real quick. I was very, very frustrated. After I turned the camera off, I just wanted to fix this tiny little panel, and then everything started collapsing on me. I was like, no! So now I'm like, do I want to go back and do the modifications? I might not, because I'm afraid if I start doing modifications, other things might start popping off, and then I will ruin this beautiful car, and I'll get very, very upset, and I won't want this car anymore. I'll just get rid of it or something. I don't know, but I like it a lot. There's definite room for improvement, Mattel. There's definite room for improvement. That being said, thanks once again, and I will see you guys on the next one. Do all the things. Until then, holla.